Clone starts off by saying that there would be health risks imposed on a younger recipient of a cloned organ from an older donor. These health risks are not even possible though, because the organ would have to be transplanted from the recipient themselves, so they'd be at the same age. Or if not, the body would see it as foreign and would attack it, but it doesn't. Like my partner mentioned before, cloning has an advantage of advancement in cancer treatment. Scientists may learn to switch on and off cells on or off through cloning, thus being able to cure cancer. Scientists still do not know exactly how cancers differentiate from specific kinds of tissue, nor do they understand why cancerous cells lose their differentiation. Cloning at last may be the key to understanding differentiation in cancer. According to the U.S. National Cancer Institute surveillance epidemiology and end results, there was an estimated 1,958,000 people who had invasive cancer as of January 1st, 2000, which are the most recent statistics for this study. If institutions were granted these funds, all these people would have more of a fighting chance to survive cancer and not die because of that. My opponent also attacks my partner's claim that cloning would not help solve infertility, saying that clones would be discriminated against because they're referred to as having an unnatural existence. But according to the professor of genetics at Princeton University, ultimately, when children are born with the use of this technology, they will not be called clones. There is a technology that scientists developed called nuclear genetic renaissance. When used in medical scenarios, people were resistant to it because of the word nuclear that was there. So we changed the name of the technology to magnetic reconnaissance. Reconnaissance imaging, known as MRI. Everyone has become accepting of it. So just because people see that it's cloning, they say it's cloning, has negative connotations to it. And if people don't know that you're a clone, no one would know. You would have to tell them that you're a clone or that it didn't happen naturally. My opponent also fails to see that an increase in research for cloning organs can also push for an advancement in cloning of people to produce babies. What happens in genetic material is that genetic material is taken from adult cells, and that this genetic material is placed into an egg whose own genetic material has been removed. Under the right circumstances, that egg will, with a complete set of genes, with a complete genetic material, could develop into an embryo. It would divide into multiple cells, and that embryo could be placed into a uterus to develop into a fetus, and ultimately a baby. People have trouble becoming pregnant and having babies, so this would eliminate that completely because we can have two pieces of human material, combine them, and create a baby. According to the UNOS, as of November 18, 2011, there are 112,674 candidates waiting for organ transplants. Their spokesman also told National Geographic that there is a new person added to the waiting list every 14 months. If federal funding were able to go to cloning research, we would be able to provide a viable organ for those who are on the waiting list. Like my partner said, organ transplants are difficult because it is difficult to find an organ donor, and there is no way of knowing if the patient's body will accept it for sure and if it will not attack it and see it as foreign. but because of cloning, a organ can be derived from the person themselves, so the body wouldn't recognize it as foreign, it would see it as its own part, it would see it as part of the body, and it wouldn't attack it. So the need for donors and people dying from waiting from organ transplants, or waiting for organ transplants would be eliminated. The structural inerrancy that my partner explained showed that because of all these things, because of this stop on funds, we can't advance this cloning technology. In October 3rd, 1997, the Honolulu technique created Lumina, the cloned mouse that was cloned from luminous cells, which are cells surrounded by developed egg cells, using traditional nuclear transfer. The nucleus was taken from the similar cells and implanted into the egg from another mouse. The cell was then treated with a chemical to make it grow and thrive. The scientists repeated the process for 3 generations, yielded over 50 mice and virtually identical by the end of 1988. The Honolulu technique success rate was 50 to 1, and it had 6 times better more than the Retinals Institute. So by saying this example shows that field cloning has progressed without the use of federal funds to make the money of research. If federal money were to go to this cause instead of other things we have now, this would benefit humanity greatly.
Really good. It's like exactly 7 minutes.